African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing on the progress of the special military operation as of September 8, 2025. Units of the North Troop Group inflicted defeats on formations of 3 mechanized airborne assault brigades, airborne assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Stepno, Novaya Sek, Leninskoye, Sadki, Magritsa, and Unikovka in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, units of a motorized infantry brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine were defeated in the area of the settlement Volchansk, Kharkiv region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost up to 200 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 23 cars, and a French-made 155mm self-propelled artillery system Caesar. 9 ammunition and material supply depots were destroyed. Units of the West Troop Group improved their tactical position. Defeated were personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Velikaya Shapovka in the Kharkiv region, Yereveya, and Yampol in the Donetsk People's Republic. Enemy losses amounted to over 240 servicemen, 4 armored combat vehicles, including 3 of Western manufacture, 17 cars, and 2 field artillery guns. 4 electronic warfare stations and an ammunition depot were destroyed. Units of the South Troop Group occupied more advantageous lines and positions. Defeated were formations of 2 mechanized, motorized infantry, assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Seversky, Minkovka, Chervono, Kurtovka, and Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost more than 170 servicemen, 2 tanks, 4 cars, and 3 field artillery guns. 2 electronic warfare stations and a material supply depot were destroyed. Units of the Center Troop Group improved their position on the front line. Defeated personnel and equipment of 5 mechanized, infantry, assault, 3 airborne assault brigades, 2 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 2 Marine brigades, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Dmitrov, Krasnoarmysk, Grishino, and Rodinskoye of the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to over 455 servicemen, 2 combat armored vehicles, 4 cars, and 4 field artillery guns. Units of the East Troop Group advanced into the depth of the enemy's defense. Defeated formations of 3 mechanized brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Orestopol, Novopetrovskoye, Sosnovka in the Dnipropetrovsk region, and Olgovskoye in the Zaporizhia region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost up to 215 servicemen, 3 combat armored vehicles, 12 cars, and an artillery gun. Units of the Dnieper Troop Group inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of a mechanized brigade, 2 coastal defense brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Stepnogorsk in the Zaporizhia region, Tokarevka and Nikolskoye in the Kherson region. Losses of the Armed Forces of Ukraine amounted to more than 60 servicemen, 4 cars, and 2 field artillery guns. 6 electronic warfare stations, 3 ammunition and material depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian Armed Forces troop groups inflicted damage on an energy facility that ensured the operation of enterprises of the Ukrainian military-industrial complex, radar stations of air defense, an assembly workshop for unmanned boats, command posts, and launch sites for long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries. In 136 areas. Air defense means shot down 2 guided aerial bombs and 195 airplane-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, destroyed 666 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 82,445 unmanned aerial vehicles, 627 anti-aircraft missile systems, 25,004 tanks and other combat armored vehicles, 1,590 combat vehicles of multiple launch rocket systems, 29,376 field artillery guns and mortars, 41,319 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.